Well, I will say it. I'll pick it up and say it. I believe that, yes,
Okay.
we should give people a level of grace. However, I do think it's important to redirect an individual, you know,
In
because you
certain
never.
situations. Like
Yes.
the example HAMP gave, if somebody's calling me a nigger in that situation, I don't think you're gonna get any grace from me. You're gonna get 5 fingers across the face. You know?
Why? It's a defense mechanism.
That ain't no defense mechanism. That is being disrespectful. That is just bullshit.
Think about this though, right? Like you saying she went through all these traumatic things. So now all men that didn't do that are subjected to it. And we're saying that we should have grace for somebody who's behaving poorly. We all go through a whole lot of things, right?
But I said redirect as well, though. Remember, I did.
Yeah, I heard that part, right? And I'm ignoring that part. Nice, nasty.
Oh, I've heard that before.
The passive aggressive one, pompous one, that one needs to definitely be assessed. The pompous and condescending, those would be close. Straight up ratchet. Yeah, these dispositions is like we display them pretty well. What's the acceptable disposition? How would you convey an acceptable disposition? Is it inviting or is it like like what is it?
It would just be having a sense of being cordial. Some people aren't necessarily inviting all the time, but I think that if you have a disposition, learning. So I didn't. Some is that a taboo word? I got it. I got it.
And also where it's particularly right because the POV. So I think it's important. We can talk about the men for sure, but I just want to mind through this. You think most of our women have a cordial disposition?
No, not all the time. No, most women don't necessarily have a cordial disposition. For example, the video that we saw, a lot of times they might just want to greet you or say hi. Most women might not be inviting to that always, for many different reasons. And I'm not knocking them for it, but I think if you just have a cordial disposition about yourself, it would be helpful.
You say you're not knocking them for it?
No, I'm not knocking them for it just because I don't know their reason. I believe that everybody has a reason as to why they operate the way they do. It doesn't excuse it if the behavior is bad, but I understand there are reasons for people's behavior.
So there's a justification for them not being cordial.
I wouldn't necessarily use the word justification, but I'm not going to fight you on it.
Well, where would you use?
Reason. I understand they have a reason for it. That's the word that I would use. Everything is not justified, but a reason you can understand.
I understand that there's a reason. Are you saying that there are reasons that justify not being?
There are some reasons that justify
not being cordial.
Not certain behaviors.
So, what would be a reason to not be cordial?
I'll just give you probably a more strong reason.
Okay.
Let's say a woman experienced a lot of physical, emotional abuse from a man, and she's learning how to navigate through life after maybe therapy possibly, or just being around people who have helped her navigate on how to be cordial after experiencing so much emotional and mental abuse from men. That is a reason that could be justified, meaning you can understand why she is standoffish and not as cordial because of those experiences. That one could be justified.
So you're saying when we go through hard things, it's okay for us to bring it to work.
It may not be okay, but at least if you know a person's reason, you'll understand.
So people go through hard things, they should be allowed a level of grace to be rude.
You should be allowed a level of grace, but
to be rude specifically, or not cordial.
Yes, you should allow a level of grace. I wouldn't say allow it all the time. In situations like that, it gets tricky. It's a case by case type of situation. Like say, I'll give it to you.
But I have a question. Can I ask? So, is it necessarily being rude, or is it more so a defense mechanism? Because based on what I'm hearing, it's a defense mechanism. It's not going around being rude.
Good point.
So the rudeness is the defense mechanism, right? And you're justifying it because of what somebody did to you or that you've been subject to that I had nothing to do with. But because you went through that, you get to treat me poorly.
I believe that you should allow that level of grace. And then when if you're having an exchange with that individual, just politely say, hey, you know what? I get you may be going through something, but I would appreciate if you would speak to me in this manner or handle me in this manner. So I believe that you do have the power to redirect someone.
And our experience is going to shape our behaviors.
Got you. So when they call you a nigger, it's justified.
No, it's not justified.
That's not justified.
They've been traumatized by niggas.
They need to go back to therapy and work through that shit.
This is not how defense mechanisms work. If you are giving grace for people to have unbecoming behavior because it's a defense mechanism, you being a nigger in real time is because a nigger ain't gonna tell me what to do, because I seen what happened when niggers try to tell me what to do.
You can redirect.
4 times? I think that was 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
You can redirect though. I believe that if you allow a person a level of grace, you can redirect them. Like, hey, I get that you're going through something, you're dealing with something, but I'm not going to allow you to speak to me in that manner. I'm not going to allow you to handle me in that manner.
Chris Shauna, right? Take this walk with me.
Right.
I think is an overarching issue because we have these experiences, right? We think that we can carry them, wear them on our shoulders, treat people as such, and then project them onto others. That person will never self-correct.
Well, remember, I didn't say you should excuse the behavior. I just say you should have a level of grace. Or actually, you said it, and I agreed with that.
Great. I said give him grace?
You said we should give, or you gave that example.
Sorry, no, well, let me, just in case, I retract that and I apologize.
Well, I will say it. I'll pick it up and say it. I believe that, yes, we should give people a level of grace. However, I do think it's important to redirect an individual. You know,
in certain situations. Yes. Like the example HAMP gave, if somebody's calling me a nigger in that situation, I don't think you're going to get any grace from me. You're going to get 5 fingers across the face. You know?
Why? It's a defense mechanism.
That ain't no defense mechanism. That is being disrespectful. That is just bullshit.
Think about this though, right? Like, you saying she went through all these traumatic things. So now all men that didn't do that are subjected to it. And we're saying that we should have grace for somebody who's behaving poorly. We all go through a whole lot of things, right?
But I said redirect as well, though. Remember, I did.
Yeah, I heard that part, right? And I'm ignoring that part. Right? I'm just being 100% honest, because I think the fact that the person that didn't do anything wrong has to do some work. Nah, Shun, you the asshole. Why do I, from a woman, I could be holding the door or whatever, and it anything, right? I don't know her from a can of paint. Why do I have to redirect her? Nah. What about how her modus operandi is what needs to be addressed?
I believe that you should treat people in the manner that you want to be treated, but everybody won't do that. So I'm not going to let somebody else change my character traits because they're misbehaving. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to still be me and handle the situation how I normally would. Their behavior doesn't dictate how I carry myself or handle myself.
100%. That's a different point. I agree with that point. I vehemently disagree with, I have to redirect people that just have bad behavior that I don't even have a relationship with.
You don't have to. I said you can redirect them.
And your interjections are getting untimely. I'm noticing that. So that's the 4th one. It's okay.
Well, you did tell me on the last panel that everybody's a professional. They don't need babying.
100%.
I'm learning. So
I got you. I just saying we just got to gear up now. So I'm listening to it. I understand it, right? But you putting the onus on someone who didn't do anything wrong, right? These are grown-ups that are being rude, right? They're being irresponsible in the earth by treating people poorly. Now we're putting the onus on somebody who has no relationship, no title, no jurisdiction to redirect this grown person who chose to act like this. They're allowing them, the things they went through, to change their disposition towards others that have nothing to do with it. I'm not putting the onus on somebody who's being subjected to that. That's just, but I think it's good though. I think it's interesting though.
So is it only a defense mechanism when it's women acting out? Is it only classified as a defense mechanism when it comes to women? When it comes to women and how we show up in the world and everything like that based on our experiences that we've experienced? Is it just a defense mechanism when it comes to women? Is this standard applied to all people? Oh, it's a defense mechanism for everybody, or is it just?
I feel like it's situation based. I feel like it depends on what that person went through. The example used, the woman who had negative experiences with men, such as maybe rape or physical abuse, if she's projecting that negativity towards men, I can see that because that's trauma that she's still processing. But if it's a situation in which someone is up outside at 7 o'clock in the morning and they're not a people person and you say good morning and they greet you with the finger, that's something that's completely different. So I think what Krishana, I believe my interpretation of what she was trying to say was there's certain situations where we can give grace. But I don't think she was using that as an example to excuse negative behavior, because there's certain people who they just go around giving negative behavior. But there are certain people who they're still processing their trauma. They don't have healthy coping skills. And that exudes in their daily behavior, unfortunately.
Taking the time to understand why you're treating me this way. Taking the time to do that, to figure out why you're doing this to me.
And no one does that. And I agree with you, Leah. No one does that. We just see the behavior and what we're being presented with, and we judge people off of that. We don't dig deeper. we don't consider what the other person might be going through. We just make an assumption based on what we're receiving from them.
Would we say that women lack, actually, would we say that being able to not project your traumas onto others and show up in a way that you want to be treated, would we say that's a part of being emotionally intelligent?
I agree with you, absolutely. But there's a lot of broken people walking around. So not everyone is there yet. There's still some people who's processing their trauma, and they may need several years to process that, unfortunately.
So when it comes to women, are women lacking emotional intelligence when it comes to this aspect? Do we lack an emotional intelligence when it comes to how we show up in the world?
It's not, I think women, we go through that, but men go through that as well too. But we can't say women don't go through that, because we all go through that. That's a human thing. That's not a gender thing.
But I think we were talking about the negative disposition of women, right? I don't know.
Yes.
So I believe like we are supposed to be talking about women. So that's why my questions is centered around women, because we're like, that's just where my mind is going, just being as though that's just what we've been talking about this entire time. So I'm not trying to just single women out, but because we're talking about women, that's why I'm asking, if that makes sense. Oh, that's why I'm making my statements about women, if that makes sense.
Right. No, that's understood. But like I said, we all go through it. That's a human behavior. But yes, women can go through that as well, the same way as men.